Hey guys, what's going on, and welcome back to another video. So in this one, I just finished up working on this Jeep. This is a vehicle for a person that I used to work with, and it needed an oil pressure switch and also natural vapor leak detection, which is like it's basically the valve that goes onto the canister and vents to the atmosphere. But yeah, so I did change those two parts, so hopefully that's all good for him. While I was at the auto parts store, I had to pick up a new sensor because my wideband sensor went out. The way I could actually tell was while I was driving, it was very weird. The gauge would just completely lean out, and you see three dots, that means you're totally leaned out. So it would lean out at idle, and it also leaned out when I would start to get into boost, which is the first thing that gave me the indication, because I knew the tune was good, and then all of a sudden it just started to lean out getting into boost, which kind of concerned me. So you know, I was worried that I was going to blow it up, so I just kind of didn't get into boost, and I started to baby it. But since then, I've been messing with it, and it seems to be pretty consistent that when I get into the throttle, not even into boost, that this thing would lean out on me. So I could tell the car wasn't leaning out though, because the car was running totally fine. So what I ended up doing was grabbing a sensor from O'Reilly's, and the part number is, I think, I'll find out the part number and I will throw it in there, but this is the sensor right here. It is 170.25. So if you guys have a sensor on your wideband go out, you don't need to get the AEM part number. It references to this Bosch sensor right here, and it should be accurate. It's reading like the other gauge was reading, so I think we're pretty good. 170.25, and this is like almost $100. They're expensive, but I have had this sensor for quite a while, and being so close to the turbo like that, I do think that sometimes the heat can take them out. But yeah, anyway, we got a new sensor in there, and it seems to be reading good. I haven't yet taken it for a ride, but it hasn't given me that idle problem that it was giving me, and it hasn't yet leaned out on me completely yet. So maybe this sensor's been on its way out for a while. I'm interested to see how the car will drive now. But I did want to go over just my tuning setup, and like the point of this video, I think, will be to just go over what I've been doing to tune the car. And I know that it looks like a mess in here, but it's a work in progress, and I've been trying to diagnose everything and figure out the wires. So I'll just run through kind of what I have going on here for my tuning setup. So I've been meaning to make this video for a while, but what I have here is just a regular old chipped P28 ECU. And so I bought this off of eBay. I do have a video which I will throw a link to in the description, or I'll throw up a card in the top corner or something like that. And this guy will be in that link there, and you'll be able to buy one of these just like I did. So after you buy your ECU, you need a way to tune it. So you can either do chip burning, which chip burning, basically you buy yourself a chip burner and you get your software on your computer, and you have numerous different tuning softwares that you can actually use. There's Honda Tuning Suite, which is what I'm using, Chrome, Neptune, and there's all different sorts of tuners that you can use with those. You can burn chips with a lot of them, or they have their own tuners. So Honda is one everybody's pretty much heard of. That's a board that you actually put into your ECU, along with like Neptune RTP, is a real-time programmer, and Demon, that's another one. So there's a bunch that you can do, and I think that's the Motes Demon, and what I have is the Motes Ostrich, which is this ribbon cable right here, and it goes to this guy right here, which is the Ostrich 2.0, and then you've got a USB cable here that'll go into your laptop. And then in addition to that, what you're going to get is a data logging port on this ECU. So it's a 4-pin data logging port, and you'll buy a data logger such as this Hue-Log here from Motes as well. So then you buy the data logger, and that is also USB into your computer. So then you get your computer all set up with whatever tuning software you're going to use, and then you have to set up your COM ports and everything, which can be a bit of a pain. HTS was a lot easier than Chrome. Chrome gave me a lot of problems, but Honda Tuning Suite was very good. So in addition to that, what you have to do is hook up several other wires here. I'm in the process of making some things work. I want to tape this up here, but for the most part, if you want your wideband to work with your tuning software and be able to data log, you need to send your 5-volt reference from the wideband over to the ECU, which is something that I always struggled with, and I was never able to get to work, which really kind of bummed me out. And I just actually figured it out today. I guess that over on the wideband gauge itself, it has a set of wires coming out. There's a bunch of wires. One is for a serial output that you would put into right into the OBD or I believe it uses like a data connection, and that's going to transmit a different way if you had a standalone ECU like that. But for me personally, just having this ECU, we need to send in our 0 to 5 volt reference from the gauge into the ECU, which the computer can then read using the ostrich. So it may seem a little bit complicated, but basically all it is the gauge sends a 5 volt reference signal over to the ECU, and the ECU determines based on that signal what your air fuel ratio is, and then that relays it to the computer where you can pick it up. So I never had the correct wire tapped. Every wiring diagram that I read for my sensor said the white wire, and I tried it. I kept trying it, and it didn't seem to work for me. And I tried different ones you can use on your ECU if it's a P28. If you look at a pinout and you get pin D14, which is this one right here, that's the one that normally comes from your O2, and that reads the voltage, the 0 to 5 volt reference from your O2 sensor. So if you cut that off of your jumper harness and then wire your reference voltage into that, you will be able to read that. And that's what people normally do, but that never worked for me on the white wire on the AEM gauge, and that is what everyone said that it should be. I know I'm talking a lot, but I just figured this out and I'm super pumped, and I figure I will get it into a little video here of my tuning setup at the same time. So you can also use E10 or D10, I'm sorry, D10, which is the ELD, electric load detector, and I did try to use that as well, but that didn't seem to work for me either. So the one that actually is working really well right now is this one, and I did end up using the brown wire off of the gauge. I'll show you guys. Down here, I've got my brown wire hooked up to my wire that goes across the car. I tried the white wire and the other white wire. There's a green and a blue. I think the blue is for the serial. Obviously we have black and red here. And what you really would like to do with these black and red wires, which is your switched power for your gauge as well as your ground for your gauge, is you want to throw that over to ECU power, because for the most part the ECU is what you want this thing to work off of. I used to have this thing running off of just a switched power over down on the fuse block over there, but the problem with that was when you would turn the car on to crank the vehicle, when you first key it up, the sensor itself, the wideband O2, has a heat up cycle, and it heats itself up so that it's ready to start reading accurately. And that heat up cycle could either be interrupted, and or if you were to key it up and not start it right away, it would start its cycle, and then when you go to key it up, it would cut power to it until the car was running, and then it would regain power. So that was always kind of a bummer for me. If you were to let it warm all the way up, but you couldn't just start it and then have it start reading your air fuels. So what you do to solve that is you should get ECU power and ground to the sensor. So if you run wires over from the red and black and you run that to the ECU, and the pins that you want to be on the ECU, I believe, are 825 and 826, which are let's see, I ended up grabbing them over on the other side here. I found out where they went and got them out of my stock harness. But on the P28, they're 825 and 826. And there's plenty of diagrams out there, but you want to get power and ground from there, which for me on this Accord are these wires right here. The yellow and black wire in the top corner here was the one that I used for power, and the ground one is the brown and black wire right here. And I was able to use that one for the ground, and I got to tape that one up still. But yeah, using that has actually allowed me to get the sensor to heat up. All right, everybody, so we are finally reading correctly on the wideband and on the tuning software as well, so I'm pretty stoked about that. Figured I'd take a little ride, maybe grab a little bit of fuel. Yeah, so car's running really good. The tune-up is really solid. I'm happy with it overall. I think that this gauge, the wideband sensor, might have been going out for a while, just based on the way this thing reads down low. The other one used to cut out way sooner. It never really read anything down low like that, so I'm pretty happy about that. Seems like it's reading very good. guys, and I'm able to actually log these air fuels. It's first time in forever. Turn on data logging here. We're just gonna wait for a good time to pull out. And drivability is really good. I'm happy with the drivability in this car. It's honestly driving like a dream. I got no problems with it. Just gonna see if we can get a little third gear pull up in here. It seems like it's alright. I'm excited. Finally got a good working wideband, and we got the computer dialed in too, and it seems to be reading. I'm going to try to make a data log here. I had a little trouble with it earlier. I got to figure out the software and exactly how to do the data log, but it would be nice if I could see all my stats. Alright guys, starting the data log now. Woo! Just don't have enough road, guys. Do not have enough road. I almost got to the top of the R's. We gotta stop the data log. And that's that. So we should be able to save that as a data log, hopefully, and then we should be able to look at it. Alright guys, I'm going to try to do data log here, well, first to second. Probably gonna blow the tires off. Hopefully we don't break anything. Woo! 15 pounds in second gear is a little much. So you can see my log here, so this is pretty cool actually. I finally figured out how to do the log, so on that last pull it actually worked. So right here we have right before the pull, and then this is as I started the pull. You can see 104 for the blue, that's the TPS, and boost is yellow, so you can see boost slowly ramps up here, and RPM is red. So right around 4,000 PSI we're making about 3 pounds of boost. And then we get into about 4,400, making 5 pounds of boost. 4,800, making 7 pounds of boost. That's why this thing's so laggy. Right around 5 grand, we're making 9.8 pounds of boost. But this is also first gear. So first gear is, you don't make too much boost because there's not that much load. So then we drop off. This is when I shift, get off the throttle, and then we get back on the throttle. The AFRs kind of spike a little bit to 16.2, so we may have to work on the tip in a little bit, but then they sort of, I'd like to say level out, but they kind of jump around a bit here from you know, say 13.9, and then this is 11.3, and then 12.8, and they jump down to 10.8, and they're kind of all over the place here, but for the most part they follow a trend, and the same trend. And this boost here, you can see the boost ramps up a lot quicker, so by the time we're at about 5,000 RPMs, which is right about after we shifted here, we end up back at 12.6 for boost. So this car is actually pretty laggy. This is a big turbo. It would be nice to be able to spool it up a little bit quicker. Hopefully the boost solenoid helps me to do that, but you can see we hold and end up at 11.5 here. But I would like to see a third gear pull with the load and see exactly when we come into boost, or maybe even a fourth gear pull, see when it comes into that full boost section there. But yeah, we're looking pretty good. I'm glad we actually have a log here and we can watch all these things, and we can see that at the top of the pull here, air fuels are right around 11.6, which is good. And then as we work our way over here, this is getting into third gear, I'm guessing, and I should be able to edit the graph here and maybe add a fifth value. Could do gear, so that would be cool. So we can add that in later at a later date. But yeah, so it does show, oh, fourth gear, okay, third gear, second, oh, first gear, oh, it shows first gear and then third, second being there, third being here. Okay, not really sure. I think it's because we did a lot of spinning, but yeah, for the most part this is working, which is awesome. So now I just got to do some data logs here and run them out and see what happens. But yeah, I'm pretty stoked that we can actually data log, record air fuels, and all this good stuff. So I'll actually be able to fine tune this thing and get it dialed in. So hopefully that is helpful info for you guys, and hopefully you guys learned something, and I'm going to throw this video together for you. But remember to like, comment, give me a thumbs up please if you guys enjoyed the video. I try real hard, and I'm trying to blow this car up for you guys, but it doesn't seem to want to blow up, even on like 13 to 15 pounds on a totally stock motor. But we're going to keep at it, and we're going to keep tuning and keep trying to get this thing dialed in. As of right now, it's alright guys, I just emptied my SD card. It kept getting full, so I kept trying to close this video out, and it kept filling up on me. Now the GoPro's about to die, but long story short, the car is pretty much painted. I just got to do a little bit more prep work on the other stuff, and it's ready to paint. As far as the tune, it is really solid. This thing is eating. Just coming down the road over there in second gear, I definitely smoked these tires a little bit. I should have come out when they were a little bit warmer, but yeah, they feel like they've been getting beat up a little bit. I got another set of fatter tires to throw on this thing. I'm gonna try to do that in the coming days here. Get this thing ready to have all of its effects put on. I want to lift it up a little bit. I want to see if I can find 2 more of the same tires. But yeah, God, I love talking. Anyway, done talking. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you enjoyed it, please subscribe. Other than that, have a good one. Peace.